Educating the East End is so brutal.
Dash you off the 28th floor like it was bungee. I wet the blood sleep. It's murder.
Hello, you donuts. Today we're going to be watching Educating the East End. Don't worry if you don't know the concept of this show, because here's a quick rundown. A production team documents the daily lives of students at a school called Frederick Bremer in East London. The episode that we're going to be breaking down today involves 3 students who are struggling to cope with school life, and we're going to see by the end of the video if they manage to overcome these struggles and change their school life for the better. The episode starts off and we meet our first student called Louie, and we find out that he's had a late placement in this school 5 weeks later than everybody else. So straight away he's probably going to be one of those kids that doesn't fit in, because imagine going to a school 5 weeks later than everyone else. That's going to cause some difficulties.
It's Thursday morning and Year 7 Louie is in German class. He got a late place at Frederick Bremer, so started nearly 5 weeks later than everyone else in his year.
I'm sorry, but just looking at him as well, I feel like he's going to struggle to come out his shell. He just looks introverted straight away. I don't know what it is about him. I think it's the Karen haircut, or the fact he looks a little bit like a mix of Harry Potter and Malfoy. I feel like I'm going to feel so sad about this boy in this episode. I always end up nearly crying in these. We then get our first interview with Louie to find out a little bit more about him.
On the very first day, it was really weird waking up and then having just to go to school, which is like really big and scary.
Oh, this kid. If anyone bullies Louie, I will come to your door. I don't care if this was 6 years ago. Okay, I'll turn up today. Be like, you, what did you do to Louie all those years ago? He's still not recovered. Oh, I feel protective over him. I think because he looks like one of my younger brothers did when they were in school. Obviously, Louie's just started at this school, and we later find out that he's already had 14 days off. And because of this, he has to have a meeting with the student support teacher.
And has been called to see one of the school's home support workers.
What I wanted to speak to you about, Louie, your attendance is pretty poor, isn't it?
Oh, this is hitting me in the heart. I feel like there's a dagger in my chest. This is exactly what I went through in school. I used to take every Monday off school because I hated it. I don't know if I've mentioned this in a video before, but what I used to do is I would go in the bathroom, lock it, piss in the toilet, and just make sick noises. And then my mum would be like, oh, just take the day off. I'd be like, okay, mum, if you insist, I'll stay off and play Call of Duty. That's fine with me. But yeah, this clearly shows straight away that Louie isn't fond of school, and I wonder if like his arc in this episode is going to be find out the reason why he's not turning up and how can they get him into school, because obviously taking days off, as much as it is fun, is not very helpful.
You know, I bent my leg last week. Like, I can't walk to school because it just really hurts.
So you're telling me your leg was hurting?
Oh, Louie, I can only help you so much. My friend, what? You didn't come into school because your leg was hurting? Christ, Jesus, that's almost as bad as like your dog ate your homework. What do you mean your leg was hurting? God, put a wet paper towel on it, Louie. We all know that fixes everything. My leg was hurting. Oh, man. You might as well have just said you had Ebola. Probably would have been more believable. You can see by his body language there as well, like he's kicking his feet. He's like got his like hands underneath like where he's sitting. Like, I don't know. I wonder if it's just the anxiety of all the new people and that he has no friends really. I wonder if that's the reason I guess we'll find out in the episode. So obviously he had that meeting with the student support teacher who's called Miss Austin. Now she comes out and says something that I find kind of odd.
I hated school. I could think of 1,000 other places to be. I just did not want to be there.
I'm sorry, okay? You hated school. You could think, by your own words, of 1,000 places that you would rather be than be in school. But then you decided to get a job in one. How does that make sense? What? That's insane. Do you know what shop I hate? I hate Superdrug. I don't know why I hate it. I just hate it. I could think of 1,000 places I would rather be than be following my girlfriend round in a Superdrug. So I don't get a job in one. I guess that's actually kind of cool, to be fair. You're kind of like facing your own enemy straight in the face. You're like, no, I'm not scared of talc. I will do this. But yeah, I just don't know why you would get a job in a school if you hated school.
I was quite badly bullied. Just that, I think that just tipped me over the edge. I was like, I hate it.
And on from this, we meet another student that Miss Austin is trying to help with school, and his name is Devante, and in his own words, he's an aspiring rapper.
You have literally 5 seconds. Do not enter my room with that on. I'm serious. Turn it off and get in.
You're not coming in this office with Digger D on. Turn that woi down now. That's not part of my vocabulary. Alright, let's wag one with the rest of this video.
12-year-old aspiring rapper Devante.
If dying, I've been dying since the day in my
Right,
birth.
let's do it now. Go on, play it now. Play it now before
Yeah?
we start. Yeah, go on. Because otherwise you're going to keep on about it. I know what you're like.
Go, Miss Austin. She was like, actually, yeah, play that Digger D. Fucking get it really fucking hot in here, right? Anyone else feeling really hot? Anyone else feel like they could just stab their own mother right now? Anyone else feeling like that? Or is that just me?
Dash you off the 28th floor like it was bungee. I wipe the blood clean. It's murder. It's murder.
Yeah, don't quit the day job, Devante. Stick to chemistry. 12-year-old rapping about murder. The street's unsafe, guys. 3:30, that bell rings. Damn, he's just straight on the road, looking for someone to chef up.
Like my mum, I see her cry every other day. I don't like it, so I ask her why, and she don't tell me.
That's really good.
What do you mean that's really good? I mean, it is. But the kid's talking about his mother crying every day. What? The only response is really good. Ask him if he's okay. Jesus. The bloke's 12. Talking about murder and his mother crying every day. Christ. Somebody give that boy a Frosty's bar. Put a smile on his face. Jesus. No wonder he's struggling in school. There's me when I was 12, walking home, listening to Justin Bieber Boyfriend on low volume just so nobody could hear it. I did actually used to listen to a lot of Justin Bieber, but I remember when I was in year 7, I remember walking to school and I'd listen to One Direction, like, sometimes. And then when I got close to the school gates, I would change it to Eminem, just in case anyone stole me headphones. But just quickly, before we proceed with the episode, I want to say that 66.3% of you donuts have not subscribed to this channel. Oh, think of the kids. Subscribe for the kids in the video. We're building a nice community of donuts in our little corner of the internet, so if you would like to join that, please do press subscribe. Then you can have loads of videos to binge watch when you're bored. And let's get back to the rest of the video. We then find out that Devante is actually a young carer.
He is a young carer.
Sometimes I'll go home and she'll be full of life, and other times I'll come home and she's still in bed.
Oh, this show makes us sad. Oh, so he doesn't really see his dad, and obviously his mom's kind of, you know, dealing with her own stuff. So I imagine he's quite neglect of attention, so I wonder if, like, that's his issue in the episode. I need to know if he becomes a successful rapper, because this was obviously filmed a few years ago. We'll check at the end of the video how he's getting on now. The show then cuts to a meeting with the teachers where they're discussing Devante, and we find out Devante is in this school scheme called Fresh Start, which is basically where he learns away from everybody else in the normal classroom so he doesn't disrupt them. And in this meeting, one of the teachers says something that Devante did, and it's actually wild.
And he was saying to me how he put a kid in the bin and rolled him down the hill. I genuinely don't think when he did that he knew it was wrong.
What is wrong with putting a kid in a bin and rolling him down the hill?
That happened to me all the time as a child.
That's awful. Especially for the kid in the bin. Christ, what did he do? It's awful, right? But it's kind of funny. Like, putting him in the bin and then going, you know what, I don't think that's enough. I need to roll this fucker down the hill. Like, that's so outrageous for a 12-year-old. Like, he's got a real dark vision. Jesus. The teacher says that he doesn't think Devante thinks that's wrong. Surely Devante knows that's wrong. Surely Devante is not going, well, this is my ticket to heaven. The kid probably knows that he shouldn't be doing this. The next scene of the show cuts to a student called Charlie who's doing like a deep breath before he goes into class.
It's the first period of the day, and Year 11 Charlie has arrived for his French lesson.
Oh my god, I used to do this before going into school and classes like every day. I thought I was the only one. You're a real one. Charlie, I love this. Well, I don't love it actually. It's actually really life-altering. But, you know, at least somebody else feels the pain. Say if I was going to geography. I'd been going to geography for like, what, 9 months with the same teacher, same classmates. But still, every time, if I was walking a class by myself, I'd have to take like a deep breath. Just because of the anxiety of going in. It's so weird. It's weird as well because in the episode you see Charlie's actually quite comfortable in class. It seems like he's laughing, he's joking on. He seems like he's not even that introverted. And that's like the main thing with anxiety. Like, it affects people that if you were looking at them on the base, you wouldn't expect that they might struggle from something like that. Because I feel like when you've got anxiety, you get really good at like masking it from other people because you can you learn to deal with it, I guess. And I just think that this show is like fantastic because people who are in school and they see this, they'll feel seen, whereas when I was in school I didn't watch this, I didn't know other people felt this way, and even me watching it now makes me feel more comfortable that I go through this. The narrator then tells us that Charlie is actually one of the brightest people in his class, but there's just one thing holding him back.
Whilst other people are just getting on with their work, even though it might look like I'm just sitting there doing the same as everyone else, my brain's going, you're gonna have a panic attack, you're gonna have a panic attack. I feel dizzy, lightheaded.
Christ, I've picked a bloody serious one today. Jesus, where's the tissues? Charlie then puts his hand up, and I think the teacher knows that Charlie like struggles with panic attacks, so he's allowed to leave the class, and he goes straight to Miss Austin where he has a little chat with her. Just straight away, it's nice that Miss Austin's always there to talk to people, because I feel like in my school there wasn't really someone that you could kind of talk to about this kind of stuff, so it's good that these kids have this.
Charlie has been diagnosed with an anxiety disorder after having his first panic attack in an exam last year.
It's a shame that this 5-minute blip
is taking over again. Don't let it do that to you.
I tell you what, Charlie, right? Have you tried the wet paper towel? Have you tried rubbing it all over yourself? Maybe that might sort you out. Go and have a pasta king and a raid or fizz. You'll be up to scratch in no time. The show then cuts back to Louie, who again didn't turn up for school yesterday, and the reason why is actually really sad.
Mum had gone out to the shops, so when she come back home, she'd thought that he'd gone to school. And then she went upstairs and found him hiding under his bed covers.
Oh, Louie, what are you doing? What are you doing to us, Louie? Who hides under the bed sheets with their shirt, tie and blazer on? This kid must be sad, fucking hell.
Either you're struggling, which is why you don't come to school.
No, it's none of that. It's just like dumb reasons.
Oh God, if this was my kid, I would genuinely just cry every day. I'd be like, what? No. To be fair, if he has had a late placement, like he's only in year 7 and he's already switched schools, that's a bit, you know, intense from the parents, unless they've like moved from far away. But Christ, I don't think I could ever like make my kids move school, because I would just have so much anxiety that they weren't going to fit in the new one. Miss Austen then has a meeting with the teachers as she wants Devante to return to normal lessons, and I proper rate this about Miss Austen. Like, she in this episode is like an absolute gem. Like, she actually wants the kids to like enjoy school as much as they can, which is weird because she said that she didn't enjoy school, but maybe that's actually a good angle to come at, because she's trying to make these kids not feel about school how she felt. In Devante's first lesson, when he's back with the rest of the students, is actually really good, and the way that the teacher, Mr. Skinner, treats him is kind of perfect.
The reason that Devante's name is on the board is because I gave him a book and he said, "Thank you very much, sir." And the first thing about getting people to follow your advice, a lot of the time, is being polite.
God. You're gonna make a grown man cry here, Mr. Skinner. I don't know if you usually do that on the weekends, but you're doing it now. Oh, that's actually so sweet, because he's picked up on such a little thing that's gonna keep Devante interested. And like automatically Devante's gonna give him a bit of respect because he's given him some attention. You never know, this could be his arc. This could be the start of his confidence boost, where he becomes the next, I don't know, Unknown T. Oh, Devlin. Oh, I don't know, some drill artists out there. It's now a new week at the school, and Louie's attendance hasn't improved at all. If anything, it's getting worse. And he finally opens up to Miss Austen about the reason why he doesn't like school.
Just because I don't think I'm fitting in well, and I just don't want to come.
See, there we go, we're getting somewhere.
It's just, I just want to be my other friends.
If anyone has moved school who's watching, like, what is it like? Because as a young kid, it can be one of the worst things. Like, it's so hard to fit in when there's already established friendship groups from like primary school, especially in year 7, where you're not confident at all, and like everyone else in the school's older than you. Like, it must be such a like tough experience. If that was me, I'd genuinely just spend like every single day in the toilet on my phone until the school ended, like if I had to go. We then get a bit more context on Charlie's situation, and I think we kind of are starting to understand his anxiety a little bit, because he says that his brother went to Oxford and his parents put quite a bit of pressure on him to succeed in his exams, which, you know, obviously doesn't help to his already diagnosed anxiety, because exams are like the most stressful part of your life. Just putting your own pressure on yourself, but imagine you've got pressure from outside in your family. That just makes everything like 10 times more intense. So no wonder like he's spiraling in class, because if things aren't going in, he's probably stressing out. Charlie's best friend is even worried for him. He says that he thinks his anxiety could be the thing that defeats him in his exams. I guess at the end of the episode, we're going to see how well he does in these exams.
Music is a pretty major part of my life. It's a nice little escape. She's up all night for good fun.
We also find out that Charlie is part of a band, and he uses music as like his escape to kind of forget about all his issues. And Miss Austen, the legend, suggests that he plays at the annual school concert in front of the rest of his classmates. And this is actually such a sick idea, because if he can push through something as scary as that, then he's gonna like take that momentum into his exams, which is like, it's such a good... Miss Austen, somebody give that queen a crown.
Lots of people, it's going to be hot, it's going to be stuffy, and everyone's going to be looking at me. So if anything was to happen, everyone would notice. I just think that we're going to be under-rehearsed massively.
Charlie, we're doing it. We've done bigger things than this.
Yeah, but...
Charlie, we've literally been in the gulag together. Charlie, we've literally been on 360 no-scope Rust games together. This is nothing. This is absolutely nothing.
If I walked out on the stage and I looked and there's however many people in there, I'd just go...
I'd give you the reassuring glance that I do every time.
These guys are just so cute, man. Like, do you know if I said to me mates in school, oh, by the way, guys, I'm going to be performing on stage at the school concert, they would rip the piss out of me for an entire year. Like, that would be all of our Snapchat stories for my entire life. I would never ever be able to forget that. Oh, looky here. It's fucking Concept Boy. Don't know why they're American. They did not sound like that. And very quickly, the episode pivots towards Devante in lesson, and the school teacher says something really odd.
Yeah, 7!
When's that?
Yeah! 7! Did you see Miss Austen's look? She was like... This guy gonna murder us, Christ. I would hate to see what this guy's like when he goes home.
I don't want to raise my voice and I don't want to get nasty, but if you force me to, I will enforce the rules of the school. These are the realities of adult life, people. You better get used to it because you're 12.
What? What does that mean? That's just a complete, like, hypocrisy. You need to get used to adult life. You're 12. Exactly. They're 12. They're not an adult at all. They've got at least 4 years before they're 16. And even at 16, you're still not really an adult. Yeah, kids, when I was 12, I had 4 jobs, 3 mortgages, and I'd sailed around the world. Kids these days, they don't know the meaning of hard work.
Devante has been attending mainstream classes for the last 2 weeks.
Look at Miss Austen, man. This woman is absolutely sick of her life. Remember, she said she hated school, and now she spends her days just sitting in classrooms. It's like she can't get away from the thing she hates. I just don't understand why she took this job. I hate slugs, so I'm not gonna go in like a slug petting factory. Is that a thing? I don't know. Whatever job you'd play with slugs. Not play with them. That sounds kind of weird. I wouldn't do anything to do with slugs, right? They kind of creep me out, so I actively avoid slug jobs. But yeah, Miss Austen is sitting in all of Devante's lessons, and Devante's starting to act up, and there starts to like build friction between the two as Devante's not really listening to Miss Austen when she's kind of telling them to be quiet.
Devante, put the pen on the table now, please.
If she was there some lessons and not some lessons, it would be better because I'd get more breathing space.
I do get that from his point of view, like that would be quite suffocating if they're like always on you, but the fact is, like, if you weren't acting up in class, then you wouldn't need this teacher there, and if she wasn't there for some lessons, you're probably just going to exert all your energy into like misbehaving, so that's why she's constantly got to be there just for the start. And this causes Miss Austen to take like a step back from being in Devante's lessons. As Devante said, if he had some breathing space, possibly he would act better, in his own words. And this is how his first lesson without Miss Austen goes.
Obrigado.
Hope this bloke does not become a football goalkeeper, because Jesus, this man can't catch to save his life. This man couldn't catch COVID in a bloody COVID factory. That is a terrible joke. Don't know where that absolute scraping the barrel with that one. Wait, I've got one. This bloke couldn't catch a disease in Elphaba's house.
Devante, we're having a lot of problems.
Yeah, as you can see, the problem was definitely him having Miss Austen sitting next to him. He was correct there. But yeah, this went exactly how I thought it would go. He had the breathing space, and he's just acted out 10 times worse. And like I said at the start of the episode, I did believe his thing was going to be attention, because obviously when he's home, he doesn't get the attention that he needs. Like everybody else in this class, I imagine will get attention from their parents, whoever their guardians are, you know, even if it's a little bit of attention, whereas Devante doesn't get any of that. So when he comes to school, this is like his time to get as much attention as possible, because he needs to kind of make up for when he goes home. In like a weird way, it's not actually the kid's fault, and especially since he's only 12, he won't realise why he's doing this.
He's blowing it, really, but I still know that he can do it.
And after all this, Miss Austen still believes in Devante, and like the only other teacher who is teaching classes who believes in him is Mr. Skinner, who is the guy who was really nice to him nearer the start of the episode. And Mr. Skinner is like Devante's last chance of staying in class and not going back to fresh start where he'll learn by himself, as every other teacher has basically given up. And in Mr. Skinner's interview with just solely the cameras, he says that you've got to treat every student different. Like every student can't learn the same way, and I think that's such like an emotionally intelligent thing, because I feel like in school I didn't learn the same as like what other people did. Like I found it really hard to concentrate and stuff, yet when a teacher is treating everybody the same, you kind of don't fit into what is successful in school. But then from the teacher's point of view, they've got like 30 plus kids to deal with. It's sometimes hard to give individual attention to everybody, so I do get it from both sides. It's just unfortunate for the people that don't really work best in the school system. They kind of end up being classed as like failures. But one thing about Mr. Skinner is he really goes like the extra distance to try and engage Devante into the lessons.
What kind of music do you like? Whenever you look at a song from one of the genres, you'll often find that the lyrics in the song connect back to the life of the person that's writing.
Look at Anthony Fantano over here, the needle drop of a teacher. But that's actually really good, because he's relating it to something that Devante is interested in, and he's also relating it back to the schoolwork. So then it's kind of like he's like bridging the gap. But Devante, like Like, I love that. Like, he's actually sat next to him and went, you know what, I'm actually going to try and help this kid. Whereas if he just shouted at him like the previous teacher did, he just doesn't move any further forward. And like you saw in that class, he just acted out even more. The show then cuts to like an after school like social kind of club where 2 students are in it, and the only 2 students are Devante and Louie. And for some reason my mind was blown when I seen this, because I was like, this is some sort of like multiverse of madness. Like, these 2 have never met in the show. Now they're facing each other. What is this? I love it.
What main things do we need to do?
Like, listen, communicate.
Devante, yo, Dominator, if Louie's talking to me, just talk to me about anything.
I love that the teacher asked Louie, like, what are the main things we need to do? And Devante said, listen, when he clearly just didn't listen. I love this kid, man. Louie then says that the social club is actually really helping him come out his shell, and he's probably made Devante as a friend, so that's a positive. Maybe they can form like a rap duo. I'm kind of seeing this connection blossoming towards the end of the episode. But this is good. This is progress for Louie. This is what we wanted. He's coming out his shell. It's now time for the annual school concert where Charlie is going to be performing. This is what his entire arc has been building up to try and help him fight through his anxiety. Yes, you can, Charlie. Charlie, you can't do this. Not now you're there. No, you can't. He was right there. He'd done the hardest part. He was ready to go on.
You can't do this, Charlie.
I can't.
You can.
Just standing there, looking at everyone was making me have a fucking panic attack.
Do you know what I really rate about his friends as well? Like, his friends are probably, crapping themselves about them going on stage, but they, like, put their own emotions and, like, their own anxiety on, like, the back foot just to make sure Charlie's okay. Like, I hope he's still friends with these guys today, because these are, like, real good friends.
I have every faith in you that you can do this.
This is like me going into like a shop that doesn't have self-checkout, and I've got to go to one where like I've got to speak to the cashier. I'm like, oh, I can't do it. I can't do it. I'm anxious. What do I say? Do I ask them what time they're on till? Do I ask them that? Or is that just taxi talk? Christ, like waiting for Matty Healy to come out. There he is. There they are, the boys. 1976.
We're doing a mashup that we came up with, and we really hope you enjoy it.
Go on, Charlie, son. Christ, look at that. He's got a half-naked lady on his bloody strap, the dirty git. Christ, he's got some confidence to wear that on stage. Go on, son.
Sometimes Sally seems to sort of suffocate me.
Oh, I've actually got goosebumps. That's so good. Encore, play Nando Skank. Oh, I've actually got goosebumps from him. That's actually so good. That must have been so nerve-wracking for him. That's gonna help him so much, not just in school, but in his life. Like, I feel like he's gonna always remember this moment as like something that he pushed through. You know, like, he's always gonna have anxiety. At least he knows that he's like strong enough to overcome it at certain points. The show then ends after this, but it gives you like short-term updates on how each of the students are doing. And we find out Louie is now in year 8 and has lots of friends. You also see him kind of like drop kick someone, I think. So, you know, as long as he's having fun. We also find out that Charlie got 10 GCSEs, including 8 A stars and 1 A. Like, I know he has anxiety, but like this is like, you know, that one really clever person in class that would be like, oh yeah, I think I did terrible. And then they get like 10 A stars and you're sitting there with like 3 C's and the rest failures. You're like, what were you even worried about? Well, that is insane. 8 A stars. This kid is, imagine if he didn't have anxiety. This kid could kill everyone in the world. This kid could cure diseases. We also find out that Devante in the short term got referred back to Fresh Start. So Devante was the only one that really kind of didn't make any progress in this. So I did want to kind of check up on him like right now, or like the latest kind of info about him to see where he is. And I got really excited because I saw this headline about him. The remarkable story of Devante from school dropout to the O2. And I thought, what? This guy's got sellout shows in front of 20,000 people in London? This is class. But then I read down the article and it said that he's employed by a catering service who work at the O2, which is still great, right? The kid's getting a career for himself. But I did think, when I first saw it, I got clickbaited into thinking that he was a huge music star. But still doing well. It's just the fact I thought he was like the new Travis Scott. But yeah, if you would like to watch me react to another educating video, click right here. I've done quite a few. Go on a binge watch of them. Or if you want to watch my brand new reacts video on my reaction channel, click right here.